into this evening's live, I'd like to go over a little bit of backstory of what's happening here. XRP right now, whether you're a seasoned veteran with trading or if it's your first time looking at the charts, XRP's coming to an area where it is a monumental situation we're in. And it's a historic one for the fact of if we could hold, and right now, unfortunately, we're painfully below, even though we're so very close, the fact we're not holding 59.7 cents is a big problem. If we get rejected on this 59.7 cents, which is happening right now, the drop down, we do have a hold point around 56 cents. I call it the expansion zone. We'll get into it when we get into the charts. But it could drive XRP back down as low as 42 cents. We could end up breaking this 6.5 year pattern formation. And that could bring you down to the depths of like 26 cents. But as it is in the short term, this pattern formation has to end by December or at least early January. So December of 2024. This pattern has to end, and it started in January of 2018. So the significance of this moment right now is if we could somehow hold 59.7 cents and start to rally up, we would have broke the 6.5 year resistance. Right now we're back testing that 6.5 year resistance. As of right now, we failed. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen 100% of the way through, but as of right now, we have failed. This morning, we had failed, but we're fighting. It doesn't mean we're going to fail. It just means we failed so far. And in order to get this right, XRP has got to at least get over 56.7 cents or 59.7 cents. If we close under 59.7 cents, it's not a good situation. We would like to show that as a support area. Now, am I going to say, oh, if we don't close at 59.7 and we close at 59.6, is that a big problem? Not necessarily. It shows a sign of a little bit of weakness, but it's not. So we could be splitting hairs here. So the point is that's in a technical reality when you're trying to base some of your decisions off of technical analysis, and you shouldn't base them all, but it should give you a guiding point. It does seem to give us a very strong, resilient level that if we could show this as a sign of strength, that for the first time in 6.5 years, this level would not be resistance. So what we're currently trying to do is flip resistance to support. The only way to do that is back test it. And everybody's like, we're always back testing. We are, because we can't flip it. So every time we go down, then we come back up and it's slightly lower. The next time if we go down again, and let's say we get back up here around October, November, it'll probably be at about 50. Well, we'll look at it in the charts. But it could be down, let's see, just for example purposes. Right now it's at 59.6. Let's say it does take us, let's say we get rejected here, which I don't think that's necessarily what's going to happen. And I'll show you why. But let's say it takes us a while. It takes us until, even if it took us until August, that quick, it would be down to 58.5 cents the next time. So every successive attempt up, it's still going to be a lower high. So if you buy it on the resistance, you fall in the risk of the next time it hits resistance, it could be on that same resistance line, but you're still down by a certain percentage. So right now, in current times, we are dealing with about, in current times though, it did come down a little bit from yesterday. So I don't necessarily like that candle, but it has come down a little bit. So we're technically fighting with 59.60. No, that's not true. It's close, but we're right here, so why put it to the side? 59.64. So yeah, anywhere in this level. So we're still under it though, but we're close. The point is we're close. We're fighting, and I firmly believe if you sell XRP, you're going to be haunted not just for today. Maybe even tomorrow you're going to feel a sense of relief because who knows, the price won't go down in the short term. But over time, when everything rolls out the way it's supposed to be, and that doesn't mean XRP's getting the red carpet treatment. I mean when the digital sphere is upon us, the ones who at one point held XRP, especially for some of you who are dumping right now that bought at 35 and 40 cents, to me, unless you were going to buy at 35 and have a exorbitant amount and have a little bit over to where you can sell some off of your main bag that you don't want to hold and you just bought more just for the chance of selling it when it goes a little higher, I don't see the benefit of always rolling it over. There is I don't want to get into the whole thing, but I think when you're talking about a generational shift, you're not trying to buy XRP at 35 or 38 and sell it necessarily at 59, especially, or 59 and a half, especially unless you see a rejection. Now, if we come through, let's say you're like, you know, Tom, I bought it. We'll get into this, but I'll show you where an estimated level could be if it ends up breaking a certain spot where you could be like, you know what, I bought here. I'm going to take some profit, you know, and I don't even want to hold it until we get to the next rally point. I'll show you where a level like that could be as well. So please make sure to hit that like button, and this will be a short intro. So I'm going to do the short intro. Make sure to hit that like button so YouTube recommends this live. It's very, very important that everybody recommends this live, or that YouTube recommends it and everybody hits the like button. It really, really is. It really, really is. And another thing that I'm going to be doing, as you know, I'm taking my focusing off of the copy trading for some time because I've been finding negative funding rates and leverage trading across 3 different exchanges I use. And I'm not a big fan of that. And if you don't know anything about negative funding rates, it's an easy way for you to get your ass wiped. Let's just put it that way. So I'm focusing more on, I want to bring back, because I see some of our stuff in the depths of hell now. Like, look at DGB. DGB is back down to 00743 with an 8.2% drop. So what I want to bring back is our FOMO Fridays and Winning Wednesdays. All you have to do to be a part of that, and we might not even do $50 or $75 on each day. We might just do 25, I don't know. But we're going to have to start building into some of the positions that I value greatly. And you're going to find a moment where we're going to end up finding ourselves into DGB. And it's not yet because it looks like we've created this topping pattern. But you guys will know as soon as I buy DGB. But we're getting closer. We're getting closer. So I'm very excited because when many see the depths of hell and defeat, I see opportunity. Does anybody remember this time last year? Had a little accident. I broke some bones in my hand. Hurt my orbital bone in my face and yada, yada, yada. Remember when we did FOMO Friday and Winning Wednesdays? It took about 8 to 10 months for it to materialize. But we ended up, what, 2-3 bagging some of our stuff. Some of our stuff were up 50 to 70%. Some of our stuff we even made a little bit more. But it was during these times when things were starting to come back down to reality and then below it that you could start to bag some of it. Now, in no way am I saying today's the day, but what I am saying is I'm getting ready to start that FOMO Fridays and Winning Wednesdays, and my attention is shifting from a lot of the leverage trading talk, which I'll still, you know, tell people where to be wary. But I believe now, in this time in history, I've got to start promoting the spot positions more. I just believe that we're getting to a point now where a lot of people are going to get screwed over badly by just selling, and they're going to forget what the principles are here. Yes, XRP appears to have failed this point, but I'm going to show you the expansion zone on why you would have to break that the signal, or to confirm the signal of a breakdown if we do have it here. So make sure to hit that like button, and right after I do this short intro, we'll get right back to this. So good evening, 6:29 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. I see a lot of opportunity out here. I see a lot of opportunity out here, and that doesn't mean the opportunity is to buy at this exact moment. It means the opportunity is to get yourself situated on the exchanges, and when it's time to hit the buy button, you don't have to go prancing around and trying to figure it out. XRP Ricky Ripple, thank you for not only being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. What a generous soul you are, sending $19.99 when the day's down like this. We have the most beautiful community, and you know it's true because XRP is at minus 2.22% right there. Well, now it's shifted off about you, but you get the picture. It's the sign of the angels. See, they're back upon us. But just at that moment, the gratitude I have for everybody. So I'd like to welcome in the new members and the old members that have found their way back to the community. I love pushing the message of both groups are so integral. The older members helped us shift into what we are. The helping nature we have in the comments, the love over hate, positivity over negativity. We really live by the code of helping over hurting. So if we end up sniffing out someone who might be pushing the projection to the negative side of town, we don't participate in it, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new. we push that out with our positive energy. And that's something I've truly learned over the years. I've been here for over 3.5 years. And the new members are going to help us mold ourselves into an ever-evolving community where we stay on top of not just the news and charts, but also maybe things that occur in events that maybe we don't even know is going on, and somebody might bring us in a little bit of information. So I welcome in the old and the new members. It really is a blessing for me. I see we have a new member in Tom's Army this evening as well. My God. That's unbelievable. Oliver, thank you so much. And I know you're a new member because you have the month 1 emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. And that's important to me. Amber made that for me. Somebody who's nobody knows who that is here. But somebody I know in the sphere, never met in real life. And she made me that some years ago before I ever even started this YouTube channel. And I decided as a dedication to her that I would make that my month 1 emoji badge. And that is me being abducted by aliens. And is my face superimposed on there. I kid you not. That is circa XRP Future Millionaire 2019. Circa. So that's what my face looked like in 2019. So, you know, pretty cool, pretty cool. So Oliver Marks, though, thank you for being in Tom's Army for your first month. You have made me the happiest person in the world by helping us expand a new member in Tom's Army. I was not expecting a donation. I wasn't even going to bring it up this evening, how to do any of that. Or I certainly wasn't expecting a new member when the prices are dropping. But I believe these are the most important of times. And if you're trying to trade on the exchange, look in the video description below. I stopped putting it in the pinned comments because I don't want that blocking everybody's comments. I think it's just, I don't know. But it's in the video description below. You got BitUnix and Hotcoin I can highly recommend. Both of them I really like. Just if you're leverage trading, it's a problem we found, especially in the last couple days. The negative funding rate is out of control on these exchanges. Which means if you open a 10x trade and the negative funding rate is like, the price differential is about 1% or 0.7. You could be down 7 to 10% when you first open the trade, and you're gonna be like, well, what the hell? It shows the market price this. My buy-ins right here were up higher, but then the actual trading price for the futures market is here, and then it's so weird. So they're way out of whack. So my suggestion would be to stay in spot right now. Stay in spot. So I'm gonna practice what I preach. Chris Miles, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. CJ2 Pilot, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. Wow, you want to know more about the DGB? I will tell you more about DGB, I promise. It's my baby. It's my baby. Syrian, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens, and also for being a mod, the trusted mod indeed. Miss Vicky, welcome in. Wow. That makes my day. Miss Vicky, thank you so, so very much. 1 year plus in Tom's Army with the I Told You So badge, and is the single most popular member in the audience. It's between Miss Vicky and Tanya. There's no doubt about it. When either one of them are missing, they're the name that get brought up the most. And there is no doubt about that. And I can't... And it makes me so happy to know that we have such a powerful female ratio here with the audience base. We have a lot of power in our female section. We really, really do. I don't want to say girl power because it's cheesy, but definitely a lot of mind. There's a lot of bright minds in that sector. Let me tell you. Chris, so welcome in, Miss Vicky. The Gatman, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon badge. Yes, it did. Remember what we talked about. XRP Healthcare should move a little bit, but we're also going to have to deal with the consolidation. But eventually, when XRP does break out, there's going to be 1 or 2 with the similar name that are going to ride with it. I can guarantee you XRP Healthcare is going to have one. The problem is XRP Healthcare might have a more historic move than XRP. The circulating supply is like 60, 70 million. And it's got a lot of room to grow. But we'll definitely take a look at that. Miss Vicky says, I'm great now. I'm back at being independent and can drive. So happy and so grateful. Oh, that is so awesome to hear, Miss Vicky. That is so awesome to hear. We were all so worried. And I speak for more than just myself. Our audience base was really worried. So that's such a relief to hear. And I know it's been a long road to recovery for you. Daniel, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. Wow, a lot of members in their first month. It was just 1 short month ago. We weren't seeing many new members. This is awesome. Simon, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for I don't know because I didn't see it because it disappeared. but I appreciate you being in Tom's Army for a continuous time. Having a hard time keeping up. JW, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. I love that everybody's bringing the excitement today. There's no reason to be sad. It's exciting. CJ2 Pilot, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6 months plus with the XRP Predictor. Marvin, good evening. Tanya, love, welcome in. We were just talking about you. How between you and Miss Vicky, when you're not here, you're the most popular members in here, and here you are. Been in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge, but I love this community so much. Will Rob, thank you so much for the $5 donation. I can't believe there's donations coming in. I am so spoiled. Jorge, welcome in. Hope you're having a blessed evening. Wow, good evening. Can't get XRPH on my exchange. Nope, that's the problem. Once MEXC turned their back on us, I have no way of buying it now. Like, even on the healthcare app, it makes it very difficult now. We'll take a look at the ETF stuff with Ethereum, the Gatman. I'll take a look to see any concurrent words. John Patak, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year. But from what I was seeing, I believe it did, but I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say anything official, but I believe it did, and I believe XRP's fighting here. And if you sold, my God, are you going to regret it? To the point that, oh man, I just think everybody's going to regret it so bad. But one more thing I have to address. I don't have any sponsors here, but I would like to thank the members of Tom's Army, members of current, past, or future, and also anybody who's ever sent a YouTube super chat, past, present, or future, including today. It's because of you that this live in real time are without ads. I found it very disruptive in real time to watch ads. So starting last week, I decided, as a shout out to each of the members of Tom's Army and anybody who's ever sent a donation, that this would be ad free during the live itself, and it'd be sponsored by you very beautiful people, as I don't accept sponsorships because I need creative control here and I'm not going through all that bullshit. So thank you for that. Now you'll notice if you're not watching this in real time, you are still watching ads because it's not in real time, and that's a big perk. Because think about it, your very members here in the community, because of their generosity, are allowing you to watch this ad-free during the live itself, which is how sport it should be, which is why I stopped watching everything but Michigan football. If they're being sponsored by something, I shouldn't have to watch an ad. When they say this is being sponsored by, that should be in lieu of the ad. So what the hell are they actually sponsoring? Nothing. So anyhow, that's that. So I thank everybody, but we got to get to business. So there's going to be some of you who are new here. Rudy says, shout out to the Cobsters. Shout out indeed. Brad, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for, what did that say for Brad? I think it was his first month. Another first month. Wow. Brad, thank you for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. And remember, the power of positivity will push us through. Doesn't matter what everybody else says. As long as you believe in what you're doing and you're positive, who cares? Could be a massive W forming as well. So what I'm going to do is, I've been looking at this very closely at what we're setting up here. And XRP right now, man, did that come down and consolidate. Do we think XRP is going to hold 59.6 cents now and push up? Or do we think this bearish cross is the start of something that needs to be addressed? A few things working in our advantage. And if you don't know what this formation is right now, this goes back to January of 2018. I apologize in the comments if I get behind. But I'm trying to keep this in an orderly fashion. J Orlando sold at 61 cents. And you're going to buy back at 52. Well, for your sake, I hope it works out, but I hope you listen to this very closely so that you know exactly what's going to come. So, going back in time, that $3.31 with that fantastic price label from January of 2018 was all-time highs. That's our first hit of resistance. That 10.8 cents, March of 2020. 27 months it took for it to go from the swing high to the swing low. We hit a second tap, and I'm going to start to fill in the gaps now. I'm going to fill in the gaps because I always talk about the gaps. Today we're filling them in. We had a second tap here, December of 2020 at 18.2 cents. We proceeded to go from there to resistance number 2. We've already had 2 support hits. Resistance 2, April of 2021 at $1.98. Support number 3 happens right here, January of 2023 at 30.3 cents. Resistance 3 to confirm the pattern almost 6.5 years later, at this point 6.25 years later, was in March of 2024. We hit resistance 3 at 74.8. Now we hit support 4, which is very bullish when you hold it the 4th time. Very bullish indeed. We hit support 4, and we'll just call it end of June 2024. Now we hit resistance 4, which if we're going to break out, this is the exact point that I would expect it to start having some magic. We have a bullish cross here in the daily. I should explain a golden cross with the 20 cross and the 200 as well. So this is not bearish. Now what I expect is if we do get a rejection here, the one who said 52 is not that far off base. Not that far off base, and I'll tell you why. The guts to put that there is excellent because he's not just saying something without putting his personal position that he sold and that he's believing in what he's saying. It's not off base. There's technically, if it did have an overzealous pull down and wanted to test the 200, it's right around 53. So he's not that's within the realm of error. That's right where he's talking about. There was a golden cross that occurred there. If we don't hold 59.6 on today's terms, tomorrow it could be a little lower. We would come back down and try to hold the support structure. So what I'm saying is this doesn't mean we're breaking down. So don't act like, oh my God, it's the end of the world, I'm ripping my hair out. You could swing around here, pile on here, and use this golden cross, the support level, and pull you through. And the moment you hold this, you go to 63. You hold 63, you go to about 65. I don't know what it is on current terms, 65.2 or 65.4. But by no means should you be worried. In fact, you should be very happy. 65, no, it's not going to be 65.4 now because we have to come back down a little bit. I think it's closer to, well, I'm not going to speculate. Let's see. Crap. So, but if you're new, there's going to be a lot to take in. The bounds of my charts hold no depth. And what I mean by that, or they hold no bounds, I should say, because I have so many different charts because I have to put out information that I believe is warranted. Now it's at 64.9 if we're actually looking at this. Okay, so that's a little different. So 65 we should break through. That would be our big key. So what we're going to try to do, and as long as we see this, now we have underneath support, which I consider an expansion zone. It's hard to explain, but the expansion zone is if we fell through. We've already had a couple hits of support here, so if we need to garner more attention, support structure, we're looking for the third support structure if we come down. And then if it bounces off, then you might do this real quickly. So that's why the one who said 52, just make sure that we don't get a hold on support there at about, let's do it in real time. Because this could be your one stopgap measure from coming to 52, that 56.6 cents roughly in real time. That could be a true stopgap. So just remember that, Dennis. We do, Miss Vicky. We enjoy the journey because by the time we reach the destination, it's already too late. It'll already be too late. Trading with J-Ride, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for well over 2 years. As you approach the XRP Diamond Hand badge, the 3-year badge, the most prestigious one we will ever have, no matter how long this goes. You have the XRP 589 Moon badge, which I greatly appreciate you being a part of this. As this small little ant keeps walking back and forth on my little glass table out here. And I was a little bit late, like a couple minutes, because we had hail right before I started. We had a little bit of a storm and hail came in, so I had to pick up a little bit of damaged stuff and put up this little umbrella. Yeah, it came out of nowhere. It was just crazy. Decent sized hail, and it lasted for about 10 or 15 sustained minutes. It's the longest I've seen hail come down sustained in quite some time. Thanks you for your stellar show, channel, movie, Tom. I always say this is like a podcast, but you know, you being able to see me more and we look at things instead of just me talking. But I do appreciate the compliments. I've noticed there must be something different. My eating habits and stuff must be catching up to me because I've gotten so many comments in the last couple of days about the fact that I look thinner. Do I look that much thinner in the last few days? Like, I noticed it with a lot of things, but I've been working on this for 2 years. You know, I started back in lifting weights and stuff 2 weeks before Halloween in 2022. So it's definitely been a long time coming. But I like that. I like that. I feel like this is coffee with Tom at the barbershop, just chopping it up. I agree. That's why I always say I just speak as real as I can. You just know everything about me. Someone says, make XRP great again. Says, you look great, brother. I appreciate that. You know, I'll be 41 in December. You know, we're starting to climb up that mountaintop. Not quite there yet, but we're getting there. We're going to level off soon. So, you know, it's going to be an interesting journey as we get towards 28. Is that a Christmas tree? Are you talking about on the screen or are you talking about but yeah, so 60 point, and this is the, I know we have to hold the 6.5 year support, but we still have to get above the rising channel, and that's right around 60.2 cents, maybe a little bit, tiny bit higher. It is Christmas in July. Of course, just ride the wave as they one love from Cork City, Ireland, everyone. Hey, thank you, Dennis. I love the one love. And this is a little bit higher, 60.3. Oh, and his comment. I got you. So, okay. Let's focus here. I know we've gone through a lot, but there is something that will support a further move up if and when it comes. Because I'm not convinced we're just going to break down as of yet. I'm really not. I'm not convinced. So, whoops. We'll see how this plays out to 8 o'clock. But we're in a very prestigious spot right now because we're on the top side. And we'll finally have a close over the 6.5 year resistance as support. This will be the first time in 6.5 years we could say that we finally hold this as support. So, if this happens, you know, it would be interesting. The Mt. Gox thing, very interesting. A few other countries have come out now saying they're getting ready to offload Bitcoin. So very interesting. Today is another interesting time is because for the first time in over a week, maybe even 2, XRP went down at the same time as Bitcoin. It was running opposites. XRP would go up, Bitcoin would go down. Bitcoin would go up, XRP would go down. And you know, I'm very happy about my water today. Although it's not Icelandic water, I found at a store I was at, imported Iceland pure, and it's the only spring water I'll drink, is the Icelandic one. Or anything that comes through a natural spring. But I won't drink the spring water that they just give you in a bottle. That's not, just that it says, I don't like that taste. But anyhow, 59.9 cents right now. We're looking okay. The XRP whales will push us through, so that comes to my next area of concern. Are the whales buying or selling? Well, they've come into like a bullish stampede. It's been like a stampede here as of late. So 140 million XRP tokens were acquired by mega whales in bullish rush. Details. So XRP whales have been on an aggressive buying spree. XRP whales have been on an aggressive buying spree, snapping up over 140 million XRP in the past week. According to crypto analyst Ali, over 140 million XRP were bought by XRP whales in the past week. This massive acquisition, valued at approximately 84 million, signals bullish sentiment among XRP large holders or whales. In the last week, whales bought over 140 million XRP tokens, valued at approximately 84 million. So this has been the metric right here, and I always like to show the metric as well. And when I show you the other thing that we're going to be reading about, and some of you are going to leave, I guarantee it, and I'm going to look to see how many people are here and then how many leave by the time I get done. But later, we're going to be talking about B2 Gold, and we're going to be talking about the fact that institutional investors and hedge fund are buyers of about 63% of the holdings. Now, if you want to talk about major money investing and holding something, that's where I want to be because they don't need to sell. They already have enough money, and there's a reason why they're putting their money in something. They don't have to get any more money. They're just looking to expand. And they're looking to sit there for a reason. So in the last week, so just you're gonna want to watch that if you like precious metals or B2 gold. Because I bought a little bit more again today because I have a daily buying weekly of $57 a week. Doesn't sound like much, but if it's under $3, I buy $57 a week. Right now I have $7,200 roughly of my own money invested, and my average buy-in price with everything included is $2.56 right now roughly. So, or $2.57 it might be at. So in the last week, Whales bought over 140 million XRP valued at approximately 84 million. And there's the little graph. XRP has been on a positive trend since July 5th, increasing about 40% in the last week to reach highs of 63.7 cents. I'm going to dedicate about 15% of my lives now, if I can, and if it's warranted, to some of my precious metals interest. So anybody who likes precious metals and commodities, you're going to eat your heart out during the lives now, because I know a lot of you that like it, you keep, I know you wish I would do it. A lot of you don't, but I do. XRP has been on a positive trend since July 5th, increasing about 40% in the last week to reach highs of 63.7 cents. This uptick coincided with an increase in the number of new addresses created and total addresses engaging on the XRP ledger network. Tanya is always awesome, but spicy. No, the Bollinger Bands are looking a little bit shaky. I agree with that. But I always look at the Bollinger Bands as it's a metric in a way. But if you're riding the top of a band, or if you're losing the top, I mean, there's so many ways to look at it. But we'll continue to look at the positive and negatives here. But uptick coincided with an increase in the number of new addresses created and total addresses engaging on the XRP Ledger network. Both have reached their highest level since March. So, according to an on-chain data, the XRP price rally was aided by increased levels of accumulation from whales and sharks with 100,000 XRP coins, with a notable turning point in supply accumulation beginning in August. Daniel, you'll definitely want to watch these then with the precious metals during the end part of the lives, because you'll be very interested. I have a lot of precious metals. So with the notable in August, Santiment noted that holdings of XRP wallets with over 100,000 tokens reached a new high, representing 85% of the total supply. Following a drop to a low of 54 cents on July 19th and a subsequent rebound, XRP surged for 4 days in a row before facing profit taking. At the time of writing, XRP was 0.10% in the last 24 hours to 60.11 cents, mirroring the lackluster trading on the market. Anticipation grows regarding Ripple lawsuit resolution. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse indicated in a recent Bloomberg television interview about a potential settlement. Nope, see, I'm not going there. He did not. He said he's waiting for the judge's decision. All that is speculation and conjecture, so we'll end it there when the article was good, but we're not going to get into a part that's there for views. So, XRP right now, got an hour and 6 minutes until the daily close. We're desperately trying to hold at least 59.7 cents, but if we could show a sign of strength, we'd get over 60.3 and get on top of a very big area. A very big area, and I'm glad you asked, because it is an area that is desperate. We need to get over 60.3 because that's the rising channel resistance. And no way can we afford to be rejected here. If we get rejected here, we're coming to 56.6, and that's all but certain. I don't make the rules, I just show you them as they're presented to me. I wish I made the rules, because then I would say I could bend them and I would just break the 60.3. I'd force the sellers not to be able to participate, and the trading bots would be turned to green for about the next 37 days. And then I'd let it go to hell. But for the fact that I don't make the rules and I can only present the facts of the rules that nobody even knows how they were presented, but they are there in a manner that are always precise and always seem to screw over retail. And the main reason why retail gets screwed over, think about it this way. This is the best way I can present it to you with the whales versus retail. Think of you don't have a lot of money, which most of us don't. You invest $10,000 in a crypto. Well, you may not have a lot of more liquidity to the side, and you're putting all your actual liquidity into this thought process. So you buy in. Well, if you see it go down by 6%, you're like, oh my God. But you don't have any more money to add to the position. Or you just, oh my God, that's 6% of my $10,000 that's supposed to be in the savings account. I got to sell this. At least I still have this X amount. At least I still have 9,000, so much left. But then you start to do this over and over. It becomes a cycle. So every time you're getting in, you're happy because you sell and it goes down another 3 or 4%. You're like, oh, look at that. I just saved money, but you don't buy back. You just watch it go up 10% from there and then another 30. And then you're like, oh my God, I had it sitting. And then you buy it again. Then you buy it again. And once you end up doing that, you already lose. Plus, you don't have enough money to cover it. So now you're using that for everyday purchases. What you have invested in XRP in your crypto, you don't want to have to use for bills. Now, there will come a time when you may have to because of unprecedented conditions, but this should be money that is safely not needed. You should write it off as gone. So everything I invest in crypto, until it makes a profit, it's gone. It doesn't even exist in my life, period. So the institutional investors, the whales, have so much money that if it goes down, they just buy more and they just laugh about it. Say, oh my God, I bought it here. I got 10% down. I'm going to buy even more. Or if it's going down, they're not worried about not being able to pay the light bill. They're not worried about not being able to feed their kids. This is just money that is more of a taxed notion of anything else because they got so much money they don't know what to do with it. So now they're buying something they believe is going to push forward in the future. So some of them take crypto. A lot of them decide that, like hedge funds and institutions, will invest in commodity stocks because they get a dividend and it's a safe sector, unless you find a commodity that's a pile of shit. Then you can lose a lot of money. So you start to follow the smart money, and they do that for a reason. There's dividend disbursement every 3 months. So they get 4 dividends a year, it piles on, yada, yada, yada. So they always have it like the casino. They're not worried about selling. The casino wins more times than not over me and you, because if the casino loses $12 or loses a hand, it doesn't care. If the casino wins a hand, it doesn't care. If the casino loses set amount of dollars or wins set amount of dollars, it doesn't care because cumulatively, that emotion isn't even there. A person has to deal with human emotion of I'm losing money or winning money. So even if I have a long-term goal, I win 12%, I might just leave because I can't finish the vision. Or if I'm down a certain percentage, I can't continue the vision because I'm afraid. The house doesn't have to worry about that, and that's what the exchange is. That's why the house always wins, and that's why leverage trading should be very, very seriously reconsidered unless you are a seasoned veteran and you don't need to use that money for your spot positions. Right now, we're at a time, though, we shouldn't be nickel and diming ourselves, and that's why I'm changing my mindset here a little bit, especially with the negative funding rate, to try to promote more of the spot positioning. I was doing a good job before, but not good enough. So that's where we stand right now. We're an hour in, or not an hour, we're at 7 o'clock. I've been talking for 38 minutes. Okay, we're 38 minutes in and 104 of you are so cool to still be here. But I do talk a lot. I have a lot to say. I don't rehearse this, as you can probably tell, because if I did, there would be no way to rehearse this cluster of a show that I have. So yes, get high on XRP, as Chris Miles says. Q3, this is the most important quarter. Jeffrey, it sets up what's going to be the most explosive quarter on the XRP ledger in its history. Between the Ripple stablecoin, the RLUSD, between the real world tokenization, the real world assets, the RWAs, coming with gold and silver. I mean, the explosiveness is going to be out of this world. And that doesn't even talk about other things. That's just the 2 most important things that are going to bring liquidity. It's going to be massive. It's going to be massive. I think we're going to be more inspired by Christmas, Syrian. Oh, we don't get tired here. We don't let it bother us. You know why? Because these are moments of opportunity. XRP Bitcoin pairing looks a little bullish just on the onset. So see, when I start seeing setups like this, XRP Bitcoin pairing, nice W reversal, looks like it's in the making. This should bring us back up to the 957 positioning. If this happens, If this happens, we are in beautiful shape. Unbelievable shape. Because this is going to suggest appreciation to Bitcoin by XRP. And in my opinion, XRP is not done. Even if we have a small bout of consent, we're not done. Not even by a long shot. H-bar down 3.58%. Thank you, Tanya, for bringing that up. 6.8 cents. H-bar, Tanya, is going to get into the most desirable level it's been in quite a few years. Even though in July of 2023, we met with H-bar, we met these levels. Remember on FOMO Fridays last year and Winning Wednesdays? Do you remember the price we bought in, everybody, and the reason why we sold? We bought in on FOMO Fridays and Winning Wednesdays. It's so funny how time plays out. Remember the 5.2 down to 4.6 back up? Somewhere around here we were buying. When it did, right here. Oh, nope, right here. When it did this. Right here was FOMO Fridays. And this June, July. Where the fuck is this at? Somewhere there, August, September. I don't remember when H-bar was. But it was at 5.2 cents was our average roughly. And then I didn't want to sell, but it came all the way up to friggin' 15, 16, 18. I sold over here when we got this rejection. So I wasn't up here at 18, but I was somewhere around here at 15. I didn't want to sell it, but I could see what was building. And when BlackRock, that fake BS came out, I knew we were screwed. It's all we needed to screw our consolidation. And we were having a fantastic one, but then it got erupted. So H-bar could be creating the inverse part of this pattern now. It's back tested. Not, well, I mean, it is back testing, but I don't know what's going on here. I mean, you're going to have to take a leap of faith whenever you buy something right now. And that does look like an inverse head and shoulders is starting to form here. Doesn't mean it has to play out, but it's definitely something's forming here. Boom, boom. Show of hands, how many of you would buy a spot position in H-bar right now? How many of you would buy a spot position in H-bar on the hope that the inverse head would hold? And then you can look at it this way. If you have $1,000 position and it comes down here, that's going to run you, if you sold, 124 bucks. So that's how many people are suggesting that they would buy a position here in H-bar. Interesting. And we are on the top side of that downtrending resistance as support, much like XRP. And as you can see, we're firmly positioned in an area where I think it's a moment of opportunity, possibly. So, nice inverse head and shoulders forming. A descending consolidation at its finest level, which is what you want to see. We're starting to check the boxes here. You want to see descending consolidations. This is a... it's going to be hard to see. We got to come through the tip there. Hold on, I got to zoom in. I can't see out of my left side. I have keratoconus, so I can't see out of my left eye. It's one big blur. So I have horrible depth perception. Just horrible. It's a miracle I can do the charts in the way I do. Yeah, that's not right. See that terrible perception? Right there. That's right there. That's how I want it. Right here. Right through basically the tip here pushes the S right there. Okay. So that means the support hit right here is basically taking place. I'm not going to split hairs. In fact, we're going to guide this in because now we have the evidence. So we've had hit 1 on support, 2 and 3. If we look at resistance and support, ooh, I mean, look at that. That fits so nicely. That's spicy. That is spicy. Spicy. Tanya, because I love you and I believe in our H-bar, and I said once it came to a position like this that every time I have to sell it, it pisses me off, but every time I find an opportunity, I take advantage of it. I think I like what at least in some small way, H-bar could be tugging at my heartstrings here. I just don't really like the positioning it's at. Besides the fact that it's retesting and the fact that it's in an inverse head and shoulders. From a technical standpoint, one could be scared away. But for somebody who's looking at the actual play out here, it's interesting. I mean, that is I don't care who you are. That's interesting. That is interesting. Yeah, Daniel, unfortunately, I found out I had caricature. They thought I was going to be completely blind by the time I was 30 because they thought I had it in both eyes, my left and right eye. Fortunately, for whatever happened, it never progressed in my right eye, and they don't even see any evidence of it now when I'm 40. But yeah, I have a scar over my left eye. I haven't been able to see out of it since I was basically born. I didn't know it though until I was a little bit older. I would lie on the eye test. I memorized the eye test because I felt like a dummy. Because they'd always make fun of me and make me feel stupid when I couldn't say the right. They always act like I couldn't read or something. I just couldn't see. So I studied the eye thing and I memorized the chart. So that takes a certain level of intelligence. So I faked it until I was in 9th grade. And when I was in 9th grade, I couldn't see a damn thing. And I'm like, you know what? Something's wrong. I put on somebody's glasses and I could see beautiful out of my right eye, but my left eye was so blurry. I'm like, something's not right. And from that day forward, it was so advanced. I was the youngest person ever seen with the advancement of that level, but still had a right eye that was functionable. So I went to the Beaumont Eye Institute, and that was a nightmare. But hey, I did it. I know what it's like to cry blood tears, to cry tears of blood. They used to make me put in glass contacts, and because my pupil is not shaped in the normal fashion, it looks more like a football. It would pop out and it would get stuck in my ear duct. I mean my tear duct in my eye. So I was driving home one day from there, and it popped out and it got stuck, and I couldn't get it out, and blood was just dripping out of my eye. Fun times. That was the last time I ever wore it, by the way. Then they acknowledged that it's not a good idea. But fortunately, God gave me the gift in my right eye, and he never took it from me. So I can literally close my left eye and know what it's like to be permanently, like legally blind. And it's not fun. I can make out some things, but it's a blur. So it'd be I couldn't do this. I'd have to literally do this, and I still wouldn't be able to. I can't even see it. So it's something about that. Yeah, Daniel, isn't it a crazy thing? I don't drive anymore. I kind of somehow did that until I was about 38. And then it was one fateful day. I didn't cause an accident, but almost. And Julie and my son were in the car when I finally realized, like, oh boy, I'm not able to see like I should. But anyhow, enough about me. H-bar back testing right here. It's a very important time for H-bar. And, yep, Jeffrey, that is absolutely correct. I cannot see out of my left side besides a blur. You are correct, Jeffrey. Yep, Daniel, and the other thing is like lights. I don't like light. I like it to be darker. I don't like the sun. That's why you always see, a lot of people think I wear a hat because I don't have hair, but then people quickly realize that is obviously not the case. The light really does hurt my eye. And for anybody who doesn't know, I'm going to give you a nice look. Let's see if I can get you there. Where's this at? No, you're not going to get there because I can't see where it's at. But if you could see my left eye, you'd be able to see, because I can't focus. I can't see it. But if you could see my left eye, there's a big white scar there. Big white scar on my left eye. It does make me who I am, Miss Vicky. And it also makes me much appreciative of what the opportunity of sight really means. So, causes lots of headaches and stuff like that, but that's just a byproduct of living. 30-minute on H-bar. Fighting a little bit here. We're fighting a little bit here. God, that descending consolidation is a nice one. Now, if I was looking at this as well, if I'm trying to paint a picture, remember, we also had the shorter part of this, so we can start to build something where we're like, gives us a little more confidence here. Came down here, consolidated through. I mean, a lot of this is pointing to the fact that it is. That's what I'm looking for. See, you always look for the money shot somewhere. And a lot of times it's just out of the reach of what you're looking at. And it would suggest that this would be the most impressive buy. But just from the recent past, it suggests that we could create the reversal right here at 662. I don't know how big of a move that is, but I'm actually going to be interested to see if that's what takes place. And then I'm moving on. Got to move on. 2.6. Let's see if it comes to 6.6. After all, does everybody remember in the live yesterday that I did at about 12 p.m. instead of the normal 6:30? Does everybody remember in the live what we talked about when XRP was well over 60, almost to 62, like 61.4? We talked about the fact that there is no way, no how that it's going to make a move to 63 without back testing that 59.7. Was anybody here when we talked about that? Just out of curiosity. Oh yeah, there's lots of hair, my friend. Lots of hair. So that's what we're looking at for XRP. There's not much more we can say about that. Ed, you were here. Excellent. Excellent. Jeff was here as well. I love that. We had a very... Syrian, I know you were here as well. Ed, you said you're jealous of my hair. Well, if it makes you feel any better, it is my hair. But I've dyed my hair, even when I didn't have to, since I was in my 20s. And since I've had stepkids and that, I used to let them pick the colors. But I would probably be, at this point in my life, probably a good 40% gray, but at least I have my hair. As I always say, but this time I dyed it blue-black. My natural hair color is this dark, dominant black, at least when I was younger. But I already had a gray hair when I was in high school. Gray hair's on my side, so, you know, it's always been an experimental process. Now, I will tell you, I don't use anything with ammonia in it. So the hair dye I use could be considered the cheap version of what many use because it doesn't have any of the bullshit in it. But you also have to dye your hair every so often. 66 cents is the money shot, Ed says. And he says I'm a pup still. You know, I do agree with that only because I can see myself in 25 years looking back on these times saying, man, you know, we were still young, Tom, but we still are at 65. And if you take care of yourself, you can still feel this way until 75. Now, once you get over 75, Tom, we understand that it's going to be a little difficult and any day could be the last. But up until 75, we should have a good run. But I firmly believe with the way I've lived, hopefully with God's guiding hand and the Lord, you know, I'll avoid any of this cancerous stuff, which I won't go through any of the chemos or anything like that. I'll be doing the holistic route, but that's for another time. But I've avoided a lot of things that most people do, and I'm not talking about like smoking and all that. I'm talking about a lot of foods as well and things that you would work on your grass with, right? A lot of people want to kill the weeds. Number one way to give yourself cancer is by putting that crap on your grass. But I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to get banned. So let's see. That's what we have to talk about with crypto. So that's 52 minutes. And now we have, and I want to see, we have 94 people here at the end of our crypto talk, even though I went in Bizarro land today. We'll see how many people survive the B2 Gold talk. So B2 Gold right now pays a hefty dividend right now. Pays a hefty dividend. I'll go to Cash App. I don't want anybody to think I'm bullshitting. I'm not going to show everything. Where is this at? I need to go home. Wait a minute. What's going on here? No, I don't want to update. So, all right, so my investment B2 Gold, you can see it towards 7,400. I don't want to click into anything deeper, but that's what I'm in on B2 Gold. So if you are investing, let me pause this to make sure that I don't show something I shouldn't. Hold on. Okay, so I can't show you anything above this right here, only because it's going to come. Sorry, that has my stupid, it has my address, something above that, that's a personal part. I apologize. There's personal information above that. I wanted to get to the dividend part, but 5.3% is the dividend right now. So 5.3% is the dividend. And let's see. Although you did get to see the average share price I bought today. That was my average buy today. So you at least got to see that for the recent purchase. I think that's at $2.94. So that was the average buy-in over the last week now. So at least you got to see that. I've been telling you every time I buy, so it's not a joke. So B2 Gold right now is at $2.98. It was down 0.67% on the day, but it was up to 298 in after hours. We'll see how it performs in the morning. But B2 Gold right now, well, it's very tough. It's tough to know if we're going to actually come back down to support down here at $2.86, which I'm not interested in selling this position. I'm interested in continuing to beef it up. So if it does give me the opportunity to keep buying my weekly purchases, and then more possibly, I'll take advantage of it. But we very well could back test. Let's make sure we have it dead on. A little bit higher. Right about there. I mean, and it came close right here, so we could be splitting hairs. But if it comes down $2.86, $2.86, but commodities are going to, if Trump is the way they're going, the dollar gets de-dollarized, and they push to the digital era, I'm telling you, gold, silver, you think it's exploded now in commodities, B2 Gold is massively undervalued. With just the way their books look, money on hand, with their mines, with what they produce, and what their costs are, if you value everything in a fair value score for their price, with everything put on the table, is somewhere around $6.37, in my opinion. That's fair market value. And it literally has one of the lowest, I'm going to go into it, but I'm going to look at it on my phone, because it's not that I don't trust my audience, but I can't take the chance of somebody hacking my stuff. Let's just put it that way. I deal with too many people. But B2 Gold right now, their PE ratio, which is price over earnings, that's not showing it right now. Their price sales ratio is 2.02. Dividends 5.39 as it comes down a tiny bit. So yeah, that's that. But let's get into some of the finer details, because I got to get going here shortly because my son's going to need to get his feeding. But let's go into the finer details here and something that might be able to give you some valuable information. So B2 Gold Corp. Shares purchased by SG America Securities LLC. So I think this is the one I want to share. Does this show the institutional? Yes, this has the chart. So let's read through this and then I'll let you guys go. SG America Securities LLC. And who's interested in commodities, precious metals, and does anybody else watching have a stake in B2 Gold as well as I do? SG America Securities LLC boosted its position in B2 Gold Corp by 6.9% during the first quarter. Oh, never mind. It says $2.94. Duh. I sold at $3.14, as you guys know, wholesale. And my plan was to buy it the closer it got to $2.86. I bought it at $2.94 on average. So from $2.53 to $3.14. Sold. I also had to pay some taxes. Took me about a week to get some money back in place. I had to pay my property taxes. And then when I rebought back in, that's $2.94. So on the rebuy back, $2.94 just now. Duh. No wonder. I'm like, why does it say $2.94? I know I bought that today. That's why. I sold it there. I had to work it out in my own head. I'm like, something don't seem right. So yeah, that's exactly what happened. So there we go. Got to stay transparent so everybody knows what the hell's going on. The institutional investor owned 100. So let's see. SG America Securities LLC boosted its position in B2 Gold Corp by 6.9% during the first quarter, according to the company in its most recent disclosure with the Securities and Exchange Commission. The institutional investor owned 151,260 shares of the Basic Materials company stock after acquiring an additional 9,723 shares during the quarter. SG America Securities LLC's holdings in B2 Gold were worth $395,000 at the end of the recent quarter. Several other hedge funds have also recently added to or reduced their stake in the company. Independent Wealth Network Inc. purchased a new position in B2 Gold in the first quarter, valued at $26,000. WesBanco Bank Incorporated purchased a new position in B2 Gold in the first quarter, valued at approximately $27,000. You fell asleep? Uh-oh. He had a lot of emotion earlier, Julie. Castle Wealth Management LLC purchased a new position in B2 Gold in the first quarter, valued at approximately $28,000. Stableford Capital II, LLC, purchased a new position in B2 Gold in the first quarter valued at approximately $34,000. Finally, JW Cole Advisors, Inc. purchased a new position in B2 Gold in the first quarter valued at approximately $35,000. Institutional investors and hedge funds own 61.4% of the company stock. I was close. I said 63%. Close enough. A number of brokerages have recently issued reports on B2 Gold. Royal Bank of Canada lowered their target price of B2 Gold shares from $4 to $3.50. I wouldn't listen to anything the Royal Bank of Canada says. Instead, a sector perform rating on the stock and a research report on the Thursday, March 28th. I don't deny that they would undershoot them. Upgraded shares of B2 Gold from a hold rating to a buy rating. In a research report on Tuesday, May 21st, 2 equities research analysts have rated the stock with a hold rating and 3 have given a buy rating to the stock. According to MarketBeat, the stock has an average rating of moderate buy and consensus price target of $4.57, well under my own personal expectation of where it should be. Shares opened at $2.93 on Friday. The company has a current ratio of 2.99, a quick ratio of 1.97, and a debt-to-equity ratio of 0.01. The business's 50-day moving average is $2.78. B2 Gold Corp has a one-year low of $2.34 and a one-year high of $3.76. The firm has a market capitalization of $3.83 billion, a PE ratio of minus 76.63, a PEG ratio of 1.65, and a beta of 1.10. It rates out as amongst the top when it comes to undervalued and in the best position when it comes to commodities. Between this and Barrick Gold, it's apples to apples, basically. B2 Gold last released its earnings results on Tuesday, May 7th. The Basic Materials Company reported a 0.06 EPS for the quarter, beating analyst consensus estimates of 0.05 by 0.01. B2 Gold had a positive return on equity of 8.05% and a negative net margin of 2.10%. The company had revenue of $461.4 million during the quarter compared to the consensus of the estimate of $453.81 million. You might be asking yourself, why the hell does he find it important to talk about this today? Earnings are July 31st for B2 Gold, I believe. And earnings are always very interesting times for commodities. Whoops. Where is my earnings, huh? It's supposed to show earnings. There it is. July 31st is earnings. At the period ending in June, estimates 0.071 for earnings. Revenues projected at $472 plus million. So, during the same quarter last year, the company earned 0.08 earnings per share. B2 Gold's quarterly revenue was down 2.6% compared to the same quarter last year. Analysts anticipate that B2 Gold Corp will post a 0.26 earnings per share for the current fiscal year. The firm also recently announced a quarterly dividend, which was paid on Monday, June 24th, which we were a part of. My dividend was about $160 roughly in total. Tuesday, June 11th, were issued a 0.04% dividend, or 0.04 per share dividend, which is 4 cents per share. This represents a 16.16 dividend on an annualized basis and a yield of 5.46%. So if you held it there, you get 5.46% return on your holdings, which means you get 5.46% more shares if you just reinvest it per year. Date was Tuesday, June 11th. B2 Gold dividend payout ratio, DPR, is currently minus 533.16. B2 Gold Corp operates a gold producer company. It operates the Fekola mine in Mali. That's its most famous one. The Masbate mine in the Philippines and the Ochakota mine in Namibia. The company also has a 100% interest in Gramalote Gold Project in Colombia, 24% interest in Calabri Mining Corp., and approximately 19% interest in B Metals Corporation. In the institutional buying and selling by quarter, there's been a lot of buying, a little bit of selling at the end of Q1 and 24, which I was very surprised by. Because there was a lot of appreciation from Q1 into now. So we had Q2, you know, pretty even. But by Q2 in 23, you had 147 million buying for institutions compared to 5 million selling. You've barely had any of the sell go back out. There's a lot of institution money still sitting there. Look at Q4 of 23. There was 138 million in and only 18 million out. As to where you had almost double going out in Q1. Where do you buy B2 Gold? Yeah, the stock ticker is B2G. You can buy it. I buy it on Cash App currently. That's just another way that I hold some savings money, and instead of having it in the US dollar, I find creative ways to push it around. You can buy it on Charles Schwab. You can buy it on Robinhood. It's basically everywhere. It's not on the OTC market, so you don't have to worry about finding a weird way to buy it. It's on the main stock exchange. Anywhere you can trade stocks, it's typically there. Yep, I have an option on it as well, Jeff. I have a call option for $3.50 area for the end of January of 25, and I bought that call option when it was at $2.30 something cents. So we'll see what happens with it, but it's definitely matured a little bit. But I could always, you know, eat those up as well. So that's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking at with B2 Gold. So I thank everybody for tuning in. Wow, 24 people, or wow, I knew 23 people left during that. What a shame. But thank you all so much. Really, Jeff, that's awesome. See, great minds think alike. So thank you all. Make sure to hit that like button. Consider joining Tom's Army or sending a YouTube super chat before the month is over as a way to show your support. Or look in the video description below so that you can trade your favorite crypto and not have to worry about exorbitant fees. BitUnix and Hotcoin are my favorites right now. Blowfin's there as well, which I'm still getting familiar, but I'll talk more about that when I become more familiar. But it is there if you want to take control in a different way with your crypto. Other than that, I'm out. Gotta go. Have a blessed evening. And Oliver, thank you so much for joining Tom's Army. It's a honor and a privilege to have you as part